to inject Zepbound into your thigh and how to inject Zepbound into your back of your arm. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping, lost over 92 pounds over the last year and a half of using Mounjaro and Zepbound because of the shortages, had to switch. This is a brand new Zepbound box. So what you get in your box is you open it, it gives you the color diagram with purple colors as to where you should be doing your Zepbound instructions from the manufacturer Eli Lilly. The Mounjaro one, it's basically the same thing. It has in here your little inserts that you can read too, and then of course your 4 pens. What you're gonna wanna do is make sure that your hands are clean. I have on standby over here my alcohol wipes. I'll link those down in my Amazon shopping list. If you are a beginner, this is a great shopping list. You don't have to buy superfluous stuff, but have on hand some of the things like alcohol wipes and some of the other things for Zepbound side effects, which we can talk about later. So this just came out of the refrigerator. Some people let it sit out of the refrigerator for a while. For me personally, I have not found that it's made any difference at all. For some people, they swear by it. For me, it has not made any difference. So for my thigh, I'm gonna use the diagram part here. That's where I'm gonna be injecting this week's thigh injection, and then next week you'll see later on in the video where my husband does for me the back of my arm. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, alcohol wipes on standby. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe my thigh area, and then I'm gonna go ahead and unclick my pen. When I unclick my pen, I'll show you in a minute, but it has the lock. You're gonna switch it over to the green part, take the gray cap. Well, first take the gray cap off, then unlock it, and then you'll be ready to push the plunger, and you'll hear these series of clicks. So when I'm getting ready to do it, I get a little bit nervous. So I'm gonna tell you about the clicks. It will click, and then 1, 2, 3 usually, but we count to 10. My husband or I, if my husband's doing the back of my arm, I always have someone do the back of my arm because Eli Lilly tells us, but for my thigh, I'm just gonna do it myself. So we'll hear those clicks, and then I'll remove the pen off of my skin. What I'm gonna do is prep the area for my thigh, just like in the Eli Lilly picture. I'm gonna use my left leg because the last rotation I did my right leg, and you can get off of my website the rotation system that I do. I'll link that down in the description link below too. Here is the alcohol wipe that I'm gonna use just to clean off, and I like to get into the fattier side. You can just literally follow the diagram. I'm gonna do it more so on this side just so you can see a little bit easier and more in the fattier part. I'm not trying to show you all my business here, all of my goodies. And my hands are clean already. I'm gonna go ahead and take the gray cap off. With that, then I'm gonna take the locking. I'm going to go ahead and unlock on here the pen. The plunger is now actually ready. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on where I had already used the alcohol wipe with. I'm gonna redouble check with that picture. I'm gonna go ahead and inject. And then there was the second click. It's done to take off, taking it off. Sometimes I have blood, sometimes I don't. I'll go in with a second alcohol wipe and just re-wipe over. I don't think that makes a heck of a beans, but sometimes it just makes me feel better. You'll see on there was a little bit of blood that came off of my pen. And that injection was a little bit spicier than sometimes. Sometimes they're not as spicy. That one was a little spicier. But you'll notice on the pen, it has on here, sometimes there's blood, sometimes there's leftover liquid. It is no big deal if you have leftover liquid in there. Like, don't fret my pet. That's totally, Eli Lilly tells us in the literature, like, it's okay if you have leftover liquid. I know it's like liquid gold. By the way, this is bleeding a little bit. I knew it felt spicy. I'm gonna wipe it again with my alcohol wipe. Like, a little bit of blood does come off. If you don't bleed, that's also okay too. Sometimes I've had injections where I don't bleed. Sometimes I have injections where I do bleed. Ladies, if you are around your period cycle, that also can be why you're bleeding or not. Same thing for Botox, by the way, just FYI. But so on the pen, you'll see now, notice that the pen has changed here in terms of it's done. The plunger's changed, this is done. We heard the clicks, there was a 1 click and a 2 click. And then that's when you know to take it off of your skin. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my sharps container. You can use and dispose of them with an actual sharps container. I have one on my Amazon shopping list, but quite frankly, Eli Lilly tells us now you can just use an old laundry detergent jug, just label it as sharp and like biohazard to put your leftover pens in. Find out within your county and your state how to dispose of them. It varies actually across the country with that, but you don't really necessarily need to buy a sharps container. At the beginning we did, now you really don't. You can just put it in an old laundry container. That is it. Like, the pen takes, literally taking out maybe 2 minutes max total. Doing the compound injection of Tirzepatide, it takes longer because you have to load up the needle on there. So as Eli Lilly comes out with the vials, that will be slightly a different process, but just FYI on that. That took no time at all. it is spicy. It's a little spicy right now, but that's okay. It's totally okay. I don't even need to put a Band-Aid on it. It's not a boo-boo. And it really doesn't hurt that badly. Like I get Botox in my face and filler, and that quite frankly hurts way, way, way worse. This is minor. It's just a little pinch, like someone just pinched you a little bit with it. And now I'm gonna go on without my day. I'm also have protein. We're gonna talk about that later too, of how important protein is. So that's coming. Make sure you stay till the end because I've got for you a whole comprehensive list of the mistakes I've made. You're gonna wanna make sure you hear that too. I'm gonna show you next for how this future self is saying, for next week, how to inject Zepbound into the back of your arm. That is, you'll see that next in this video as well. I'm gonna do 3 prep steps. First, I'm gonna put an alcohol wipe on the back of my injection area. Number 2, I'm gonna take the gray cap off. Just pop it off really easily. I put that to the side. And then the third thing is I'm gonna take this spot right here. It's got the locked and unlock, and simply just twist, 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 twist. And then now it is live and loaded and ready to go in for the back of my arm injection. Back of arm, since you're having someone else administer it per Eli Lilly's instructions, make sure that they have washed their hands and that they are fully sanitized. Are you gonna count for me?
It's already in.
Thank you. Done. Injection was not fully in the frame, but you can see exactly what you're supposed to be doing. I did have, just FYI, a little bit of blood. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's okay if there's not blood. If there's a little bit of residual of the medication left over, that's also totally okay on the back. You can just take another alcohol wipe and swipe it if you want, but don't freak out over it. It does not hurt. For me, it does not hurt at all. Botox hurts worse than this. Then I'll take this, and then here are some of my biggest mistakes with my Zepbound injection if you're just starting taking your injection. One is not being prepared for side effects. Less than 1% of people have the severe major side effects like pancreatitis, appendicitis, the thyroid cancer. There's some gnarly ones. So make sure you read about those so you know if, gosh forbid, you're the less than 1% of the population. It's a very small number, but also it is thousands when hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are taking these medications eventually. So make sure you're informed with your telehealth provider with that. So, and that my source, I always have to cite my source. My source was on the Oprah show when I was on the Oprah show back this spring in 2024, the Shame, Blame, Weight Loss Revolution. The doctors on that show from the Cleveland Clinic shared that stat of less than 1%. The other major side effects are gastrointestinal, diarrhea, constipation, nausea. Bam, having some sort of either stuff is coming out or stuff is staying in. And so what I want to encourage you is have set at home like a little Mounjaro or Zepbound kit for yourself, Tirzepatide kit for yourself when you do get those side effects. For me, it was not a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And as I titrated up, I had different side effects at different times. I had never had, until I hit Zepbound 15 milligrams, the nausea component. I was toting all along, I've never had nausea, and then boom, I had it. And I actually subsequently one time threw up, which is very rare, like rare for me, and had that vomiting because of Zepbound. But that was only once out of a ton of times. And I also wasn't eating properly too, which contributed to that. It was weird. I digress. Most people have diarrhea or constipation or the nausea. Use my Amazon shopping kit, which is linked in the description link below. Just click that more button and you can shop and get my Amazon package really easily of all the things of if you do have diarrhea, if you do have constipation, the things that I've used and that my group member and a group that has had a ton of people, thousands of people, we commune on this of what's worked really well for them too. And I'll link that free group down below. You don't have to do this medication alone by any means. Mistake number 2 that I was intentional about, literally starting a year and a half ago, was I actively sought out and bought LMNT electrolytes. People talk about electrolytes a lot. I was one of the first ones who was talking about electrolytes. Why? Because of side effects. I knew based on LMNT, because they're science-based, they're not woo-woo, and it doesn't have added sugars. I bought them because they're, quite frankly, the elite part of electrolytes. And they do have sparkling electrolytes or the drink mix formulas. It's got magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Helps if you're having diarrhea to replenish those electrolytes. But also if you're having constipation, the magnesium in that will help as well if you're having constipation. And then with nausea, I simply just sip on mine in my 40-ounce tumbler, and I'll sip on that throughout the day if I do get nauseous. And so if it's too salty, just add more water. So typically I'll use 1 pack in my 40-ounce tumbler. That varies from what the directions say, but I take for sure on day 0, 1, and 2 of my injection, I will always have electrolytes. And then sometimes, do I have more than 1 a day? Sometimes, if I've been sweating profusely, but usually not. I've had 2 sometimes if I've gotten really, really hot outside, or when we went to Disney, I had 2 because I was just buckets of sweat. So that's mistake number 2 of not knowing about electrolytes. And then Element has been very gracious. This video is not sponsored by them, but they have been gracious to give the Countess of Shopping 8 free sticks with any purchase, like any purchase. So make sure you use, there's a specific link in the description link below. They've given us that, super helpful. Number 2, my biggest thing was magnesium at nighttime. That has always helped keep my constipation at bay. I use a magnesium now. I had bought one previously that had 1 type of magnesium. That was a big mistake, and I cost myself of having more constipation than I needed to. I bought and switched over to Bioptimizers, and they have a discount code QUEEN for the Countess of Shopping community because it helps with constipation. Magnesium helps. It has 7 types of constipation. 7 types of magnesium in the pill format. They do also have a powder format too that you can drink, like you just mix it with water, that has 8 types of magnesium. So for me, I literally this is like TMI, but I wake up and I have a bowel movement in the morning because of my magnesium, but it also helps me to sleep. So if you are having insomnia, I literally have my Oura Ring. And if you want information on the Oura Ring, I have another video in my playlist on that of how that's made such a big difference in my Zepbound and Mounjaro weight loss journey. But I love Optimizers by Optimizers. I didn't bring down my pills to show you guys, but that's linked down below. Major, if you have insomnia, it just naturally helps to sleep. I take it 30 minutes before bed, 2 pills with my Bioptimizers magnesium. And then it also helps if you're constipated too. So that was number 2. I just was resistant against it. And I wish I hadn't been. Number 3 is hair loss is a real thing. It won't show up. I've done other videos on this for hair, like trauma, and weight loss can be trauma to the hair. It takes 3 months to see on average. So if you start, say in January, you may not see January, February, March. The beginning of April, you may see hair loss. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's because it takes 3 months. And then also for hair regrowth, it takes a hot second for that. I, at the beginning, was really good about taking collagen and then stopped. And subsequently have gone back on collagen. I have 2 favorites. My favorite one is Bioptimizer's Mushroom Breakthrough. It has bovine collagen and marine collagen. If you have shellfish allergies, talk to your telehealth provider or health provider about marine collagen, just FYI on that. But this is the one I love. Use the discount code QUEEN. And then also I have recently bought, and I have been testing and really like it, these collagen packets. It's from Clean Simple Eats. You can use the discount code QUEEN also. They're fruity. So those are more savory. These are fruity. So I'll use those in my coffee, the Bioptimizers one. And then for collagen, again, for it to help prevent that hair loss, but also for my loose skin. Losing 92 pounds as of filming this video, I got some loose skin. And that is with intermittent fasting too, by the way, just FYI on that. And so the collagen, have been more diligent. They have a peach one. I'll use that in my unsweet iced tea. And I got one of my milk frothers. You can get that off my Amazon shopping list. But I buy all of my supplements directly from the manufacturers and not on Amazon. I buy everything else from Amazon. But my supplements, I'll buy them, A, because I've negotiated for our Countess of Shopping community discount rates. I'm like my community is gonna need a discount. And then B, there's a specific reason why. I go into more detail on that in my free encouragement group, but I do not buy supplements directly from Amazon. So number 4 was a water system because they're of appetite suppression. And I go into this in more detail in my Zepbound 2.5 milligram video, but having a water system for after your injection, for me, I don't experience appetite suppression for like the first 48 hours is this huge appetite suppression building, and then it crescendos and then it goes down. Day 5 is called a half-life dose, meaning you're gonna go back down usually in feeling that appetite suppression. Day 5, day 6, day 7. So tail ending your shot, and then you're ready again, come that day 0, ready to take your next shot with that. So I drink and I'm conscious and have a whole water system. It sounds woo-woo and stupid, but it's really not actually, because I'm not eating as much. And for me, focusing on something fun, that makes me not eat, stays out of the kitchen, has been my water system. So check that out. Also on my Amazon shopping list, I have ways you can organize your tumblers, because we had lids and straws and it just got, so making sure I'm getting in my water. I will refill my 40-ounce tumbler 3 times during the day. Sometimes that's with my electrolytes or my collagen or just plain. You do however you wish. But that for me was a big game changer. With this appetite suppression, I honestly didn't know what to do with my hands. So that has been very beneficial to have those. Next mistake is Zepbound fatigue. It is a real thing. If you are tired, or Mounjaro fatigue, if you are tired after your injection, you're in great company. For me, it like knocked me out. And so I intentionally would change the mistake that I had made, and that I want to encourage you is I would not change my work schedule, and now I do intentionally, because I get more tired during shot time. I took my shot today. I know that my productivity is going to dip, and I tell my family that as well. Speaking of which, for personal events, I let people know, hey, I may not be eating dinner tonight. I would love to come out for our social event together. You please eat, but I just took and if I tell them, if they know that I'm on Zepbound, or if they don't, I'm like, I'm just really not hungry today, but please enjoy, don't mind me. I'm just gonna sip on my unsweet iced tea, or I'm gonna sip on my decaf coffee, or whatever. I've gotten really into sparkling water too, woo! But so going back over in terms of Zepbound fatigue, twofold. One, eating less calories. Just naturally, because I'm eating less calories, there's less energy, because calories are energy. That is one reason. And then 2, for me, it just makes me tired. It just makes me tired. And so acknowledging that, and then also, I'm prepared if I need to use more downtime, so to speak, and then I'm more productive later on in the week. So that is me. And how do I know that? Because of my free side effects tracker on countessofshopping.com. Make sure you snag that. It's a great resource. It's a free printable that you can use to track your side effects, where you did your injection, the dose of when you did your injection, when you started to feel side effects. If you did the back of your arm, maybe you had really bad diarrhea, but if you do your stomach, you don't have side effects. For me, I don't really have side effects on my stomach. So that's why tracking your data is so important. And then number 6 or number 7, protein. Having 100 to 120 grams of protein per day is what my dietitian, my GLP-1 dietitian told me. I have a whole interview down on the Countess of Shopping playlist. And so really being mindful of that, I had tried to have, air quote, real foods and not have protein shake supplements or protein coffees. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't hit my 120 gram goal per day. And so I want to encourage you. For me, I don't do that on the day 1, by the way. I have too much appetite suppression, usually on day 1, sometimes day 2. But for sure, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I am really focusing on that protein. Why? Because of muscle mass loss. And so my favorites for chocolate, for my chocolate girlies and guys, Bioptimizer's chocolate, you can use the discount code QUEEN. This one is vegan. It's also plant-based. So if you are vegan or plant-based, this is a great choice. It tastes good. It mixes well. It's only 230 calories for a whopping 23 grams of protein. If you like whey protein better, I love Clean Simple Eats, discount code QUEEN for both. Strawberry cheesecake, cake batter, vanilla. They do have a chocolate brownie, but I actually preferred Bioptimizer's better in terms of the chocolate stuff. Those I really like. And Clean Simple Eats also, I didn't bring it on camera, it has a clear protein drink. It's not sparkling, it's like a still, it's flat, basically. It's just water, but protein, and it's flavored. They're really good. They have like prickly pear, dragon fruit, there's other tropical, there's a bunch of other flavors too. Those are great. 20 grams of protein, and it's only 90 calories. So if I'm driving in the car and I'm like, I'm not gonna hit my protein today, that's a great way. If I'm, momming my taxi cab driving roles for my son, that's a great way for me to get my protein in, because of the muscle mass loss. It is real, it is real, it is real. You saw me injecting into my thigh. My thighs are not as muscular as they once were. So I'm actively working on weight training to build back up that muscle mass that I have lost. And part of that was because I wasn't diligent on protein and working out, lifting, that is, lifting. And so really for me, getting back into lifting and doing Pilates and some other things to help build muscle. I'm like, who is this woman? Who's this woman? I was morbidly obese, and now I'm like really care about like weight training and doing some of these other things. So I hope that this video helps you. Save this video. You can share it back to yourself to refer back to it. If you're like, I'm not on the back part of my arm injection yet, refer to this video again next week if you're taking that injection so you can see it. Share it with your GLP-1 bestie. And then also make sure you go to my Amazon shopping list and my, like for LMNT, get all of those things. If it's a supplement like LMNT, Optimizers, Clean Simple Eats, you can get those directly from the vendor. The shipping, if you're like, I want 2-day shipping, the shipping is quick. It's around that. But you can take the discount code QUEEN, QUEEN, for all of those to get different discounts. Element Electrolytes, it's the specific link, gives you 8 free sticks, not a discount number off, just FYI. But the rest of them are 10% off. So, sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. Your accountability question today, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Number 2 is also our emoji of the day. Our emoji of the day is going to be a sunshine. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to get to know you better because I truly do care. One, if you've watched this far in the video, you probably like my content, so I really do want to get to know you. And that name repetition of seeing your name appear over and over with our emoji of the day helps me to get to know you. And 2, I'll pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought. I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye, guys.